itself for your Oracle JDK, and then the 7-zip for compress the IDE downloader file, and then Eclipse IDE, you're able to launch it, which is what you see now. And then the window builder you install remotely, right, using the URL that provided by the website. So once you install this one, you launch your Eclipse IDE, you'll be able to see this. And most important thing is this one. When you go to File and then New and then Other, you should be able to see the window builder. All right, once you're able to see the window builder, means that the window builder is successfully installed inside your Eclipse IDE. This is the important message that you need to get. Okay, once this one is done, right, then you'll be able to so-called start the project development, or what we say GUI development. Okay, to start the GUI development, what you need to do is you just need to right click at this package explorer here. Package explorer is here. So just go to new, and there's an item called project. You go for project, then if you scroll down, you'll be able to see your window builder. This thing actually hides inside here. You only can access from here. You don't ask me why. So this Java project, also called SWT or JFace or whatever you call, the Java project has to be created from here. So once you created it, let's say let's create one. Let's say this is my project 3. This thing has to be done first before you proceed for your GUI development. All right, you make sure you need to choose the JDK that you install. So in this case, we are installing the Java 11, right? The JDK 11. So this is the thing that you have to make sure that you install this, and the version that we choose is 11.040. I mean the one that I installed. So once you confirm this one, okay, you just proceed next, and then just done. Yeah, this is your again this thing come out. Let's say I say don't want to create. All right, let's proceed first. All right, my Java 3 is like this. Okay, let me close others first. You can right click and close it. All right, so I left on my Java my project 3 here. So you will see blank means nothing inside the SRC. SRC stands for source code, the source. All right. Now you can proceed to create more things under the SRC. Okay, by right click the SRC, and then you proceed with others again. All right, others again. Here. All right, we are interested on swing, so you may choose one of them. Let's say we try JFrame. So under JFrame, we just need to type a name. All right. So I'll use back the name that let's say you're interested on is MPI GUI. If you would like to put a version, also can. Let's say I say this is version 1. All right, let's say put it this way. Okay, now you will notice that the file is created, which is the MPI GUI version of. Okay, before we proceed, yeah, before we proceed, right, you need to take a look on the Eclipse workspace, the one that hide under the default setting. All right, in this case will be my Eclipse workspace under my username. My username is IDS support. So you can go inside the project folder, which is my project 3, and you will see a lot of things inside. Important thing is under the SRC. So suppose you'll be able to see the file as what you see in the IDE. Suppose they are the same. So once this file is created and the file exit here, meaning that the project is established. Established means it's ready for you to go lah. So in case tomorrow or in future you want to back up the whole folder of the project 3. All right, you just need to copy to somewhere else. All right, this thing will be exit in other place. All right, I mean you can carry or bring it forward. All right, can come back to this GUI. So once this thing done, right, you're able to switch it into the GUI mode under this tab, design. It will take a while to load sometimes. It depends on your CPU speed. Right, so my one luckily is not that slow. So yeah. All right, a lot of things you can do it here. So you may close those things that you don't want. For example, the task list. And this one, if it is not suitable to put it here, you can drag it from somewhere here. Then you can have more space here. All right, you can play around with that. All right, but you don't close it, because when you close it, then you have the trouble to find back. All right, somewhere in the windows and setting there. All right, that's why we will not go into detail. Okay, let's start on the development of this GUI. So presume that this is the main frame of your GUI, also called the first page of your GUI. So I think it's pretty easy. You just need to drag and drop things from the left to right. All right. So let's say we want to put one label. So we're going to use the label under the components. I will teach you one by one. All right. Let's start a very simple one using this J label first. J label means label. All right. So you just click and then drag before you drop it. All right. You will see that a few areas that you can locate inside this what we call J-frame here, because we create the main class using J-frame. So you can decide which one that you want to, which area that you want to locate out. So it depends on your design. All right. So I simply put first, and then we will decide later. All right. Let's say I put middle of it. All right. All right. That will be the label. All right. So to modify the content of that label that you just drop it, there is a property windows that you can see at here. All right. The word of new label here actually is coexist at here under the text. All right. So let's change the name. All right. Let's say I put it as since it's a name, probably I put like this address. All right. This is my address. So you notice that it changed accordingly. And then, all right, this is the first label that you have it. Okay, let's say your GUI done already. That means it's so simple. All right, then you just need to save it. All right, just click the save all. And then there is a green button here. Okay, showing run the project file. All right, you just click on it, then you'll be able to see the result. All right, this is the first label that you have it, because just a simple like that. If so, let's say you want to see the code behind of what you have drag drop, you can go back to the source. Remember, we just have one label in it. All right, so this is the thing that you see here, the J label. And this is the address that I just edited. Of course, I edited using the GUI way. So if you know the Java syntax, then you can actually edit from the code directly. All right. So if let's say you say, I don't have any confidence on it, so you can go back to the GUI. All right. So let's continue. Make it more complicated now. So let's say I need to have another label again. Okay. You just drag and drop somewhere. Okay, this is addressed just now. So let me drop somewhere here. Does it come up?
I think just now the label is middle.
Yeah, wait. Accidentally add. All right, let me do it again. If you want to check whether the thing's done or not, you just go back to the source. You notice that no changes because it's still under address. We only have one address here. So let me create another label. It's like not allowed. All right, you notice that the symbol that what you see in green and red, right? You notice that this is something that what we call occupied and not occupied. All right, means that this is available, this is occupied. I just want to show you that how to see it. All right. Let me go back my request, which is I don't want to add label. Let's say I want to change the frame of this. Means that I want to change the behavior of this so-called the frame. This is what we call the frame. Let me change the cursor. You can change the cursor by just click on the selection here. All right, so this is what we have it here, which is the entire frame, J frame. This is the label. You notice that when I click on the item on the right hand side, it changed accordingly. All right, this is a panel and this is the J frame. Okay, you can change the behavior of the frame, all right, using this. Okay, why we need to do that? I'll tell you why. Wait, this one. All right, this is under the content frame. panel, all right, what we call panel. Let's use the one that I'm familiar with, the grid pad. Okay, now I change to the grid pad now. Then probably you ask, does it actually change? You can see the code here. Then you will see the grid pad. Grid pad is coming up. All right, means whatever you drop there, the code will change accordingly. Okay, this is the use of this is the good of this so-called window builder law. All right, let's drag it again for your label again. All right, and you will notice that the way that it's showing the GUI is now different. Just now it split out into 5 regions, right? Now it is not now. All right, it's like squeezed together. I mean, squeeze in the sense of the maximize it. Right, when you want to put your so-called drag your new label, it not allows something like that. Okay, let me put back the selection. All right, go back to this address. You need to know all this behavior so that you know how to manipulate it later. Okay, let me switch some behavior of this address. All right, you will notice that there is 2 small little arrow here. One is at the left, one is on the right. Right, this is the thing that how actually you can expand your label. So for this case, it will be the address. It's like maximize the height and maximize the width using these 2 buttons to do it. So if let's say you want to manually adjust it, you can use the drag drop ladders. I think it's not allowed because it's like maximize it. It's using the fill up the more function. All right, it's like grow max lah for this case. So if let's say you want to make it in center, you can change the behavior like this. Okay, let me change the behavior first before I do the blocking. Okay, let me put center as well. All right, both of them are center. Then you notice that my address move accordingly. And if you run again, you notice that my address actually move into center. All right, so if let's say I want to change back again, or not to say change, let's say I put it into bottom. Now you see the alignment of text actually move accordingly. All right, it's like use up the whole entire window that we have it. All right, so why I need to mention all this behavior to the top, to the left, or to grow up or whatever, is actually it will determine the way that you present your individual's component in your GUI. All right, this is something that you need to familiar, because once you have more and more things inside this GUI frame or your GUI, I hope you are not confusing yourself later on, suppose. All right, so if this one okay, if you are able to get it, then you should be able to continue to drag more things now. All right, of course you can enlarge the frame by just drag this arrow. Yeah, just pretty easy, right? Do it. Now you will see supposed to be bigger frame now. All right, play with it, then you'll be able to see more things. All right. These are cosmetic things that I suppose you decide lah. All right. Okay. I'm not that good for the artistic things, but what I want to achieve here, of course, is the content concern. All right. So let's say we already have one address here. Okay, let me put another label here. Okay. So let me name it as something else, right? Probably different name. Let me put it as default. Means default value, right? What I try to tell the user. So if you run again for the codes, then you will see my default and address. All right. So let me create more things here. So I will speed up already because since you know some important behavior. All right, and let me add a text field here. All right, let me put a text field here. All right, the text field probably I put another default value. I want to differentiate. You see default value here, and probably I put another label. All right, let's say I put it, name it as a okay, your new address. All right, so maybe I want to show something on the center, and all right, let's say I'm happy with it. Just try to run it. Right, you will see something like this. Right, it's like what we developed. Right, the next thing probably I'll need a button. Means that after the user enter the so-called new address, and it's supposed to be reflect on the top, at the top. All right, so let me do for a button. So I need a J button here. All right, so let me put my J button somewhere here. And then probably I change the button name called submit. Forget about the cosmetic thing first, because I don't want to make the code run. Now you will see my submit button looks like this. Okay, let's try run again. See. All right, logically the flow looks good lah. All right, meaning that when user enter the value here, if I click on the submit button, this is how I want my GUI works lah. Click on the submit button, then suppose the value that entered by this user, I'm the user, it will reflect on the top. All right, to replace the default. All right, so now before we proceed for do the logic of this coding, you need to name the field first, name accordingly, so that you can use inside your coding. Okay, when I say name it, means that each and every label that you have it here, you can give a name so that you can easily recognize it when you're doing your codes. So for this case, the default here, let me name it as a label display, right? Label display. And this one I call it as X. Okay, sorry. X field user. We need a user enter the value here. All right. And this button, I can name the button with a better name so that I can recognize when I do my coding. So for this case, my button, where's my button? All right, you notice that when I click this one, this area, the variable name here, it appears like this. All right, it's under the variable field. It is the same like what we did just now for my label. It's under the variable. This is under variable as well. And suppose this one under variable as well. All right, so I call it as button submit. Right. Okay, now I have named my three things that I want. All right, first is for this submit button, this text field, and the label for this default. Okay, now you can go for your coding now. All right, before I go coding, save it first and open the source. Then you will see a lot of codes that actually flying here and there. All right, you say, yeah, I don't even know how to read it. All right, always find the keyword that you're familiar with. All right, only three things that we intended and we interested on. One is locate your address, new address, and this is the, I think, label, and this is another one, the default value, and this is another one. And around somewhere in the code, right, you will find some names that you are familiar with. Example like this one, the button submit, right, which is represent the button that you're going to let the user click on. And for example, another example is this one, label display, the one that's going to display the value. And then, third one will be the label, the text field, user, the one the user going to enter the value. Only three things, right? 1, 2, 3, right? Always remember these three things. All right, this is somewhere we need to manipulate on these three variables. So until now, Any problem?
Okay.
Just 3 things, right? All right, so before we begin the coding of the Java, you need to do one thing, because Java is a programming language, right? You need to have this also called user interaction. So you need to put in some event to trigger the user interaction. How to do it? You just need to right click on the button. It only happens on the button, and of course as well as some labels, like special labels. So for this case, it's using the button. You just right click on the button and then just put in the events here. All right, it's an event handler. Okay, what kind of events that you can put? Actually, a lot of events that actually you can capture from user. All right, I can show you I can show you, I'm not going to use it. For example, like using mouse, you can click on it, you can enter, exit, press, all right, or motion of the mouse. So a lot of events actually you can detect the user behavior there. So, but the one that we're interested and we're going to use here is this one, action perform. Means that upon the user click on the button, the submit button, what should the Java do? So you automatically bring it into the code of this action perform. So at this place, you can start doing the coding now. All right. Still come back to the GUI. Remember our principle. We just want to make sure we capture the value from here to display here upon the click on this button. All right, 3 things. So if I translate my sentence into Java codes, I know that eventually the code's supposed to go into the label. I'll explain to you what is this first. Let me finish the typing. Display. Right, let me finish the typing first. Then I'll tell you the. Right, this is the display, the label display. Okay, let's say label display set text. Let's say I hard code somewhere, something here. Let's say I hard code as ABC. ABC. Let's save it. So I just add 1 line of code here. All right, upon the user click on the button, this method, what we call a proper words for Java, is called method. This method will be execute. All right, it will be execute, and this line of code, which is line 88, it will be execute. Means that display label, it will set a text with ABC. And remember the display label, it has a value called default. Okay, let's run it and you will see the effect, the result. Upon click on this submit button, you notice that the ABC will be used and replace the default value, like what you see on screen. All right, this is the first Java code that you learn, which is the first line of code. All right, how to do it? You just want the variable name called label display, and you perform a method called set text, and you hard code a value. This is hard code lah. It means that you already predefined. All right, probably you say, no, Jujun, I don't want the hard code value. Can I get the value from the text field? Remember this one? Whatever user enter, I don't care. Just capture whatever you have it here and put inside this default to replace the default. How to do it? Okay, let's declare the variable, a new variable, user. Right. So you declare a new variable called user enter value, and you need to get this value from, supposed to be the text field user. Remember the name that we're familiar with the keyboard. All right, get from this variable, which is the GUI variable, and again, using the standard methods. So wherever user enter in this so-called text field, go through the method get text. It will store inside this variable, and you just need to assign this value into the label. Label display. All right, this is the second line of code that you learned today. All right, declare a variable, get the value from this text field. All right, text field user using a simple method called get text, and assign the user enter value into the label text. All right, let's run it and we will be able to see the result. So the user probably enter 111 and then click on the submit. Yay, the result go up. So means that with two lines of code like what you seen just now, which is line 88 and 89, you're able to transform, also called move the value, also called copy and paste, whatever you call. The value will from here to replace on here at the bottom, at the top. All right, so whatever calculation that you want to add on, please do inside the action perform here. So for example, the value has been assigned into the label display. Let's say you want to modify something upon whatever user enter. Probably you want to add some symbol, funny symbol, for example. And you may just so-called concatenate using a plus symbol. Is concatenate means that add up, all right, or so-called eliminate. So let's say user enter 222, then you will be able to see how actually I made it, all right, with additional string or additional things that you want to do. So this is the place that you can perform your calculation including those things that you want to check or do some arithmetics or whatever, all right. So make sure you compile it nicely, all right, under the logic of whatever, all right, some algorithms or some fuzzy logic or whatever. Then before you appear according to the destination place, which is at this label display. So simple. Of course, this is only for one button click. Question.
Wow.
Wow. Not
The
wow.
GUI got so many buttons and slider. It will be a lot of things.
Yeah, of course lah. No. Before I go into that, don't scare people first. So you just need to master one thing, which is the flow of what you want. Again, come back to the GUI. The flow, the design, the GUI design that what you want, and make the story inside your brain or on paper, and then translate into the codes, the line of codes here. Of course, you just need 2 lines of code only ma. At this moment lah, using my hand to type it, only 2 lines. Only 2 lines. So if you have more events, suppose you have many lines of code lah, but you need to know where to put it on it. So for this case, I made use of action or form, which is the event of the user click.